I'm reading through the New Testament in 30 days. Today's day 12, John 8 through 13. She'd been caught in the act. Whatever the reasons were that led her to be in the bed of a man who wasn't her husband, she had been caught. No doubt this would lead to a broken marriage and heartache and strife and child custody issues, but really it would lead to worse for her. You see, in her day, adultery was a capital offense. And she'd been caught not just by anybody. She'd been caught by the leading religious authorities of the day. There would be no mercy. So they drug her off to what she assumed would no doubt be her stoning. She no doubt was filled with fear and worry, anxiety, stress of what was to come. People around her already had rocks in hand. But instead of dragging her to the local synagogue where judgments was usually meted out, they drug her before an itinerant preacher, a man named Jesus. And they asked Jesus what they ought to do with her. You see, they were out to catch not just her, but him. They were hoping to maybe fix two problems with one stoning on that day. But Jesus said something that stunned everybody and made everybody evaluate themselves. When asked what to do, he said, okay, let's stone her, but let the one who is without sin cast the first stone. And slowly but surely, starting with the oldest, people evaluated and thought about themselves and realized that they themselves were not without sin and had no right to cast that first stone. And they began to walk away. Soon she was left there with only Jesus, the man who was without sin and had every right to cast that first stone. But he says to her, neither do I condemn you. Mercy, compassion was shown. But his mercy didn't stop there. His kindness didn't end. He went on to say something else. He told her, go and sin no more. You see, Jesus was kind enough to confront her sin and her actions and to tell her that her choices were harming herself. And he wanted to set her free, not only from the judgment that was coming from those people, but from her own sin and rebellion against God. Whatever came of this woman, we don't know. But if she's anything like the other women in the Bible that we encounter, her life was probably never the same after encountering Jesus. Many a prostitute had become a saint when they had come upon Jesus. And Jesus will forgive your sin too. He loves you enough to tell you that staying in your sin isn't good for you. Today you can receive both forgiveness and new life. What did you see in today's reading? I'd love to hear about it below. See you tomorrow.